In the shadows of our world, a secret society thrives, bound by a code more ancient and absolute than any law written in books. This is the world of the Mafia. It is a realm governed not by governments, but by loyalty, fear, and a set of unwritten rules so sacred that breaking them means a fate worse than death. These are not mere guidelines. They are commandments etched in blood, whispered in smoke-filled backrooms, and enforced with brutal finality. For generations, men have lived and died by this code, a silent contract that promises power and belonging, but demands absolute obedience in return. Before we descend into this abyss, subscribe to our channel for more tales from the criminal underworld. Tonight, we count down the 10 sacred rules you must never break. Each one is a pillar holding up a hidden empire of crime, from the sprawling syndicates of New York to the powerful clans of Sicily. Coming in at number 10, prove your loyalty before you can join. The Mafia is not an organization you can simply apply to. It is a brotherhood. A family entry is earned, not given. Before a man can even be considered for membership, he must prove his worth and, more importantly, his unwavering loyalty. This is a long and arduous process, a period of observation where every action is scrutinized. The aspiring member or associate is tasked with errands, from collecting debts to acting as a lookout. These are tests designed to gauge his reliability, his nerve, his commitment to the organization above all else. This probation can last for years. Rule number 9 is one of the few moral lines the Mafia claims to respect: never harm another member's family. In a world built on violence and betrayal, the wives and the children of made men are considered off-limits. This rule is a cornerstone of the internal order, a fragile truce that prevents endless cycles of blood feuds. It allows members to operate with the assurance that their personal lives are shielded from the brutality of their business. To target another member's family is seen as an act of profound dishonor, a violation that strikes at the very heart of the organization's structure. This protection is not born of compassion, but of pragmatism. We arrive at rule number 8. Never steal from the family. The Mafia is, at its core, a criminal enterprise focused on one thing: making money. Whether through extortion, illegal gambling, racketeering, the flow of cash is the lifeblood of the organization. Every dollar earned by a soldier or an associate is expected to be kicked up the chain of command, with a significant portion making its way to the capos, the boss. At number 7, we find a rule that underpins the entire power structure of the Mafia: respect the boss at all times. This dynamic is deliberately cultivated to create a powerful psychological bond. Inside the Cosa Nostra, bosses often establish relationships with their underlings that are compared to that of a father and son. The boss provides protection, guidance, opportunities for advancement, creating a deep sense of loyalty and obligation in his men. Section 3. Rule 6. The lethal cost of a lie. Coming in at number 6 is a rule that governs all internal communication. Always tell the truth to other members of the family. In a world where deception is a tool of the trade against outsiders, absolute honesty within the organization is paramount. Section 4. Rule 5. The Code of Omertà. We now reach number 5, perhaps the most famous and feared rule of all: the Code of Silence, known as Omertà. This is the sacred vow that forms a wall between the Mafia and the outside world. At its core, Omertà means one thing: never, under any circumstances, talk to the police or cooperate with government authorities. The enforcement of Omertà is legendarily brutal. It is not merely encouraged, it is enforced with a savagery designed to terrorize anyone who might consider talking. Breaking the code is punishable by immediate execution, a sentence often carried out by the informant's closest and most trusted associates. Section 1. Rule 4. Never cooperate with the police. At number 4, we have a rule that is a direct extension of Omertà, but with a specific, modern focus: never cooperate with the police. While Omertà is a broad cultural code of silence, this rule zeroes in on the practicalities of a criminal investigation. It means refusing to answer questions, refusing to identify suspects in a lineup, and most critically, refusing to become a witness for the prosecution. In Italy, where the Cosa Nostra has held sway for centuries, on average, only 10% of mafia-related crimes result in convictions. The vast majority of cases end in dismissals or acquittals, primarily due to a lack of cooperation from witnesses. Section 3, Rule 3, never discuss business in public. At number 3, we have a rule born of pure, pragmatic paranoia. Never talk about mafia business in public. In the age of surveillance, a loose tongue can be more dangerous than a loaded gun. This rule is a direct response to the tactics used by law enforcement to dismantle organized crime. For decades, the FBI and other agencies have relied on electronic surveillance, wiretaps, hidden microphones to gather the evidence needed for a conviction. Section 4, Rule 2, loyalty above all else. We have arrived at the penultimate rule, the emotional and psychological core of the entire mafia ethos. Number 2, loyalty above everything. This principle transcends all other rules and serves as the glue that binds the organization together. A member's first and only allegiance is to the family, not to his country, not to his own kin, certainly not to any moral code outside of their own. And now we have reached the final, most absolute rule of the mafia, the one that seals a man's fate from the moment he takes his oath. Rule number 1. Once you join, you can never leave. This is not a job with a retirement plan. This is not a job with a 2 weeks notice. It is a lifetime commitment, a blood covenant that ends only in one way: death. The initiation ceremony is not just symbolic theater. Burning saint, blood oath. It is a binding contract, a point of no return. When a single rule is broken, especially one of the cardinal sins like talking to the police or betraying the boss, it doesn't just affect the offender. It sends a shockwave of paranoia and violence through the entire organization. The first consequence is a breakdown of trust. The final consequence of a broken rule is the one the mafia fears most: a full-scale law enforcement crackdown. This is precisely what happened in Palermo in February 2025. An investigation that began 2 years prior, likely aided by informants or surveillance made possible by a previous breach of the rules, culminated in a massive raid involving 1,200 officers. We have journeyed through the 10 commandments of the criminal underworld, a code etched not in stone, but in blood and fear. They are a brutal architecture of power, designed to ensure order and obedience. These are not suggestions, they are absolutes. The logic is simple and savage. A lie is met with death, theft is met with death, disrespect is met with death. The ultimate sins, cooperating with the police, betraying the family, bring annihilation, sometimes to an entire bloodline. This unforgiving calculus turns criminals into a disciplined, formidable army. The mafia endures because the code, enforced by the logic of the gun, remains as absolute and terrifying today as a century ago. As we have seen, the world behind these rules is one of constant, simmering tension. This is the stark reality that lies beneath the romanticized facade of mob life. There is no honor among thieves, only a rigid code of conduct enforced by fear. If you found this glimpse into the underworld compelling, subscribe to our channel and like this video. Let us know in the comments which of these 10 deadly rules surprised you the most. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of the Mafia.